Acharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om. On the occasion of Adi Shankara's Jayanti, we celebrate the great contribution made by Adi Shankara. What we just heard, Sri Dakshinamurti Stotra, is both a stotra in adoration of the Lord, but also the sum and substance of all Vedanta. On this occasion, I request Dr. Ravi Shankar to speak a few words on Adi Shankaracharya.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. It is said the Lord descended. Ajnanantara gahana patita natma vidyopadeshaihi tratum lokan bhavadava shikha tapa papaschamanan muktva maunam vatavitapinor mulato nishpatanti shambhor murtis charati bhuvane Shankaracharya Rupa. Full of compassion for the jivas suffering in the tormenting fires of samsara, due to their abysmal ignorance, Bhagwan Sri Dakshinamurti, sitting still under the Vatavriksha, left his silence and descended to the earth in the form of Shankaracharya to redeem them by imparting Atma Vidya. Sri Shankaracharya was born on this day, today, on the Vaishakha Shuddha Panchami, 1200 years ago. The slide that you are going to see now is the Bhagwad Pada Charya Eka Shloki Shankara Vijayam. Simple and one shloka explaining how Aryambha Jatare to the entire Sarvagna Pitha and how he got all the Sangraha of the Mathas. A very beautiful shloka, and we can look at it and read it on our own. Adi Shankaracharya and how he was is beautifully described in a set of verses. The first one is what I would like to recite. It is Jagadguru Sri Bharati Tirtha Mahaswami Bhi Virachita Sri Shankara Bhagwat Padacharya Sthavaha Mudakarena Pustakam Dadana Misha Rupinam Tatha Parena Mudrikam Namattamo Vinashinim Kusumbha Vasa Savratam Vibhuti Bhasi Falakam Nata Ghanashani Ratam Namami Shankaram Guru. Adi Shankaracharya can be described with the limitation of words and ideas and thoughts. Nay, he cannot be described. He was a spiritual general, a champion of Hinduism during a chaotic, broken up religious society, an intellectual genius, an exquisite thinker with a scintillating personality, a guardian angel of rishis. He was industrious, reformist, with literally dexterity in prose and poetry. He was laden with arguments based on logic and reasoning. What a great organizer he was, a diplomat with a sense of national unity and integration through love, compassion, religious, ethical, and spiritual fervor. A philosopher, a scholar, a mystic saint with the concept of Swarajya for Bharatvarsha and Samrajya, the kingdom of wisdom within. The Shankara Digvijaya is so beautiful, and it describes all about the life, the movements, the way he went around, the work of Sri Adi Shankara. And Digvijaya Parana is a upasana. So much is written there that not much can be mentioned in such a short period of time. Beautifully, the Dasha Shloki, which we have heard a few days ago, was recited twice by Bhagwat Padacharya. Once when he met Guru Govinda Padacharya for the first time, and the second time was when he was just leaving his body at Kedar. The first ever bhashya that he wrote was on the Vishnu Sahasranam. He was a Jnana Yogi, a Karma Yogi. He deeply believed in Bhakti Yoga. He practiced Hatha Yoga. He had Tantric prowess. For that matter, he was a mobile university. Mathematical precision of the scientist is what the Westerners describe him as. The art of interpreting reality, either through religious texts or through physical manifestations is called as hermeneutics, and that is what he did. The metaphysics of inwardness of Adi Shankara stands on reason and hence has stood the test of time, even valid in today's modern scientific evidence-based world. His intense thought on minding the mind, which is beautifully brought out in Shivananda Lahiri, very rightly said is Mananaya Manana, is the highlight of Advaita. Loka Hita, Loka Kalyana, and Loka Sangraha could see them all in Bhagavad Padacharya. Adigata Tattvaha Shishya Hitayodhya Satatam is what he described himself. Is seen in the Prashnottara Malika, and the Guru Parampara shines even today, as you can see in today's class. Sadashiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, Asmadacharya Paryantam, Vande Guru Paramparam. In Bhashya, 23 prakaranas, 73 hymns and stotras, and so many more is what he has composed in that short period of time. Sri Guru Bhyo Namah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Ravi Shankar, for giving a very meaningful presentation on Sri Adi Shankara. We are studying the Bhagavad Gita, and we should remember that it was Adi Shankara's discovery of this gem within the Mahabharata. And therefore, he said this should be a separate book, and that's how we have the Bhagavad Gita, which has been separated and taken out of the Mahabharata. He's given a brilliant commentary. Today, we are studying that part of the Bhagavad Gita, the 6th chapter, which deals with meditation. Meditation is an important topic for everyone. And this particular chapter is a masterpiece in the sense all that you need to know about meditation. Not only yogic meditation or upasana, which is very clearly given, and also about Vedantic meditation or Nididhyasana. So every question will be answered in this. Dr. Rekha, you are the opening speaker for today. It is your time.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. A quick recap. The first 9 verses of chapter 6 dealt with Bahiranga or Samanya Sadhanani, which are the general disciplines to be practiced throughout the day to aid meditation. The next 5 verses, verses 10 to 15, deal with Antaranga or Vishesha Sadhanani. These are specific preparations to be observed just before the actual meditation starts. Lord Krishna discusses 8 steps here, which, if observed, will result in very effective meditation. 3 of these have been discussed already in verses 10 and 11 by Drs. Rupa and Padma, and these describe choosing the right place, desha, kala, time, and the appropriate seat, asanam. We now come to verse 12. Tatrai kagram manah kritva yata chittendriya kriyaha upavishyasane yunjyad yogam atma vishuddhaye. So after fixing the asanam, one should be seated, upavishya, on it. Tatra means the asanam. So what next? One should consciously and deliberately restrain, that is yatham, restrain the mind, chitta, and sense organs, which are indriyani. And this includes both the 5 Jnanendra Indriyani and the Karmendra Indriyani of their functions. And we should be very strict about this, switching off. And this is precious me time. And we can be ruthless about it with a clear conscience and no guilt. After doing this, what do I do next? I do not still the mind. I direct my mind towards a chosen object of meditation by a process of convergence with one attention, and the word ekagram is used for this. So meditation can be viewed as a convex lens that causes the mind with all its energy to focus or converge on one point, the way a convex lens causes sunlight to focus on a point with so much energy that a fire can be lit. Now, what is the purpose of meditation? We have to know this before we embark on it. So this is given at the end of the verse, the last 2 words, Atma Vishuddhaye, or purification of the mind. Atma here is mind. Vishuddhaye is purification. To understand this, we need to use 2 technical terms for meditation. The first one is meditation before the study of the scriptures, and that is called upasanam. The second is meditation that is done after scriptural study, and that is Nididhyasanam. That is after Shravanam and Mananam. Now, it is easy to understand that Upasana will require purification of the mind as a prerequisite, and this is achieved by removing the impurities of the mind. These impurities are of two types, Malam and Vikshepaha. Malam refers to the unrefined, uncultured thoughts of Raga, Dvesha, Kama, Krodha, etc. Vikshepaha means restlessness or extrovertedness of the mind. By removing these, Mala, Vikshepa, Nivriti, the mind is prepared to receive knowledge. Now we come to Nididhyasanam. Now one can ask, why is purification needed in Nididhyasanam? Because Shravanam, Mananam has already been done. Knowledge of Aham Brahmasmi has already been received. And this is important because in chapter 6, actually the focus is on Nididhyasanam. Swami Param says that here the impurity that remains is the entrenched habit of body identification, that is Deha Vasana. And no amount of knowledge can help me as long as I continue to identify with the body. So I have to repeatedly train the mind that I am not this body with its limitations. And this is also called Atma Dhyanam. And Swami Param calls it self-opinion revision meditation. So removal of Deha Vasana is Atma Vishuddhaye. And the remaining verses will continue with the other steps for effective meditation. Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rekha. You have done perfect. You have given the essence of this verse, even for someone who has never studied, who has no knowledge of Sanskrit. Prakash, it is your time, verse 13.
Yeah. Am I audible, doctor?
Yes, Prakash, go ahead.
Gurubhyo Namaha. Dear ones, good evening to all. My humble prostration to Swamiji, doctor, and all the participants from whom I have kindled the light of spiritual injunction. Coming to the verse, Samam Kayo Shiro Gribam Dharyana Chalam Stiraha Sampraksheya Nastika Gram Swam Disha Sharam Va Lokayan. So here actually what Swamiji wants to focus is on the posture of what you should maintain. In the earlier verse, or the earlier verse, this one, he had told that the posture, you could maintain any posture as long as it is convenient to you, because people have umpteen number of problems. If they have arthritis, people have arthritis, leg problems, sitting problems, so many things. For that reason, what he actually says, what he focuses is that to try, because the joint pain, sit down anywhere, even in a chair or easy chair, or lie down, but see that you don't drowse. This is the first thing he wants to. The prescription, so therefore any prescription is just a suggestion and not a commandment. No, because meditation is actually a posture. Meditation is the job that you do with your mind, like a student studying. He gives a simple example that a student whose was son of a rich father makes so many things for him, a palatial room, a beautiful writing table, a table lamp, and other things. But the candidate cannot he is a dull candidate. So what is the use of all this? It is of no use. So actually, it's a job of the mind. So I would like to share a small example. My Saram Vishweshwaraya was from Muddanahalli. He was from a village, my grandfather's village, where he was receiving a small amount as charities, and he read under a street lamp, for which, and he became the renowned Indian engineer, and therefore sit in a posture that you should be in the condition of the upper body, We have to sit, we should be seated with folded hands. Samam Kayos Gravam. The upper body should be erect. Kaya means the body from the neck. Is called Kaya. Griva means the neck. Siraha means the head. These three must be in one straight line, perpendicular to the ground. It should be 90 degrees and not in acute angle, only the right angle. Samam Kaya Sirvogram. Again, it comes by practice and straightness prescribed, because only when you with the appropriate posture after long study you have found that the human beings have got a big problem. We are vertically growing, unlike the animal kingdom. We have evolved from the monkeys, and monkeys have 4 legs and they have a horizontal growth, but we have a vertical growth. What happened in this vertical growth, the back became a big problem for us, and we have to take proper care of it. And also, Swamiji tells about the people working in software companies and others, people who work in front of the computers. He says it is very, very difficult because of that reason. Achalam Siraha, it should be steady and direct and firm. Krishna does not talk about that. He further goes to sense about the sense organs. Sense organs, he says, the eye is for the focus of the eye is the most important, in which not proper focusing, you tend to lose your concentration and get restlessness. So one of the other thing he prescribes is the pranayama. Pranayama is a source in which the breath regulation takes place, and we can regulate our breathing. In verse 5, in 5 and 27, verse 5 and 27, he says about the eyebrows, meditation between the eyebrows. Here he says, he focus on the nose. He says, this is all nothing to be do with. This doesn't get you into meditation. What you have to, what has to be actually done is, what we require to do is that we have to focus on our mind. Focus on our mind and be without much unrest. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Prakash, for all your efforts in giving the importance of posture in meditation. We go to the next speaker, Dr. Vikram, verse 14.
Hari Om and good evening. Verse 14. प्रशान्तात्मा विगतभिः ब्रह्मचारी व्रते स्थितः मनः संयम्य मच्चितः युक्त आसीत मत्परः. So in this verse, Lord Krishna is continuing with the teaching of Antaranga sadhanas, the immediate preparations to be undertaken before meditation. In previous verse, Lord Krishna talks about manonigraha. So what should be the condition of mind before meditation? So there are 3 key words here. First one is prashanta, a calm mind. Our disturbed due to past mind during meditation, past memories, painful experience, mind come back to trouble us. Krishna says, don't learn from them and submit them to the Lord. This will help to calm the prashantatma, that is a calm mind. The second is that is free of anxiety or with the
Sorry. So we are worried about the future. If we learn from the past experience, we can be prepared to handle future. This attitude of welcoming the future is what is required, And such a mind which is always ready to welcome future is free from anxiety and worries. That is vigati bihi, free mind free from anxiety. The third is manah samyaya, which means withdrawn mind. Our mind is occupied with day-to-day things also, work, family, friends. So it is important to withdraw mind from the current situation and worldly relation at the time of meditation. And how to do that? Krishna says, by brahmachari vrate sthita. Just like brahmachari gives up all relations, only relation he has is with the God, Guru, and the scripture. Similarly, give up all the present situations, friends, family, at the time of meditation. Krishna says, such a disciplined mind, yukta asit, which is calm, free from anxiety, and withdrawn, um, um, is important for meditation. And in such state, invoke another relationship, basic relation of life, which we always forget. This is the relationship with the God. Krishna says, focus on that relationship, that is me, machitaha. And as I am not the only the object of meditation, maschita, but also the supreme goal of meditation, that is matparaha. So to summarize in this work, Krishna is teaching us manonigraha before meditation, seeking a calm mind, free from anxiety, and withdrawn mind. With such a discipline, he advises us to focus on God Himself, as He is not only the object but the goal of meditation. Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you, Vikram. It was very nice. Only the first part, maybe the first 1/3 of your presentation, there was an audio distortion. That's how it came to me. But your message was very clear. Dr. Sandhya, it is your time.
Hari Om. Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi dikta manasaha shantim nirvana paramam mat samsthan adhigacchati. Now what Lord Krishna is saying here is that the intensity of meditation and practice should be done for a long time with a restrained mind, and eventually the yogi attains the peace which belongs to Lord Krishna and ends in liberation. Now let us look at it a little bit more closely. This verse is the end of the Antaranga sadhana, and he is advocating several types of practices to be done. The Niyama of Patanjali, like Ishvara Pranidhana, Swadhyaya, Tapas, and Shaucha, would really allow us to concentrate our mind better. Withdrawing or having minimal worldly activities again would be extremely helpful. And then with a restrained mind, that is, which does not react or reacts very minimally, we should try to concentrate on the Antaranga, that is God Himself. Now, there are various types of meditation that we can do. First one is the Saguna meditation, either on the single Rupa, Ekarupa, or you have the Aneka Rupa, which is mentioned in the Purusha Suktam as Sahasra Shisa Purushaha and so on. But these concentrate on God as a body-mind complex, the same as we are. And therefore, eventually, we should really overcome this and look at God in the Arupa form or the Nirguna form, which is what is going to be recommended here. The Saguna meditation is done in the region of the spiritual heart. The Nirguna meditation or the Arupa meditation is done in the middle of the forehead. And here we are really concentrating on the peace or the bliss and the Satchidananda aspect of God rather than His name and form. Of course, He is beyond name and form. Now, if we go on doing this with a restrained mind, then eventually we are going to be immersed in the peace that He is, in the bliss that He is. And in fact, we are really going to go almost into such a state that we are very near Him itself. And this is called the Anandamaya Kosha almost. Now, one thing we must remember is that this is a practice which takes a very long time. It doesn't occur immediately. So we have to not be discouraged or disheartened, but try to keep on going on with this type of meditation more and more. How long? Some people, it may be a few years, some people, a few lives it may take to really achieve this type of intense meditation. In fact, some of the sages say every day we should do about 3 to 4 hours of deep meditation if we are really going to progress in spiritual life itself. And this is something that we have to remember. So time is a problem, or we have to take that factor that we are going to spend a lot of time, and it may take a lot of time for some of us. The second thing, we have to do it with extreme faith. Faith in the Shastras, faith in the Guru, faith in my mantra, and most importantly, faith in myself that I will be ever able to achieve this goal if I really do this in the proper way that is recommended. And third, we have to pray for grace. Grace of the Shastras, grace of our Guru, grace of Satchidananda himself, grace for us to get a circumstance which will allow us to meditate, and most importantly, the grace of myself or my own mind that I am able to do this with a constant encouragement type of practice. Now, once eventually I reach this sort of state of complete peace and shanti, there are two results which we see. One, in our daily lives, it reflects as extreme calm and a different attitude when we are going to see the world. And secondly, if we are going to go more and more into this type of meditation, eventually we are going to reach the samadhi state. In fact, the Anandamaya Kosha is just from the samadhi state itself, and a little more of push, and we forget that we are the meditator, we forget there is meditation, we forget being meditated upon, but eventually we emerge and merge in the samadhi. Just as a river goes into the ocean, we become one with the Lord. There is no coming back, there is complete freedom, and we have reached our goal. So let us try to do this as much as possible. It takes us more than 10 years to be a medical MD, and this is the highest type of degree we can get in the world, is that of Jivan Mukta. So let's really try to do this. And also, I would like to thank Mr. Prakash for mentioning and congratulating my grandfather, Sir M. Vishweshwaraya. Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sandhya. Very nice explanation about meditation. Dr. Vikram, it is your time.
So, good evening, sir.
Good evening. Go ahead.
Sixth chapter is about meditation. Meditation, there are two types already. It has been discussed, and so even though we have got gnana, we have not got gnana nishta. For that, nididhyasana is required. I think spirituality is not a part-time job, as today Anbanand Swamiji has told. It is a full-time preoccupation. So I think it is a full-time thing. In Nididhyasana, there are the entire chapter has been divided into 6 portions, and in that Bahiranga Sadhanani, most of it has been told. Now in this version, again Krishna is telling about the Bahiranga Sadhanani. So Bahiranga Sadhanani, what are the earlier things which has been discussed already? It is Karma Yoga. Second one is self-confidence. Third one is self-control. And this verse is about moderation. So we are already addicted to many things. So I think so we need to be moderate in many things. So I will go to the verse proper. Natasya natastu yogasti na chaikanta manas nata na chatis swapna silasya jagrato naiva ka Arjuna. So main thing, Bahiranga Sadhana, this is general discipline we need to follow throughout the day. And this verse is emphasizing on moderation in everything. We get addicted to many things like paper reading, radio, addicted to mobile. So I think overdose is dangerous. So like that, so he has told 3 things we need to have moderation, mainly eating, activity, and sleep. So overeating also, it leads to papa, and it leads to obesity. And eating less also, it leads to malnutrition. So if we distribute both can be safe. So some people, they eat to pass time. So that is also dangerous. So what he has suggested is we need to divide the stomach into 4 portions. 1/2 of stomach we should eat solid food. 1/3 quarter we need to have water, and remaining quarter we should leave it. So how to decide scientifically? He has told that one day we need to eat full stomach. For example, he has told that we need to eat 12 dosas, and then we know that it is full, and from next day we can reduce it to half. Otherwise, the main idea is you should not feel discomfort. Before eating, we feel discomfort because of hunger. After eating also, we should not feel discomfort. So if we feel discomfort, means we have eaten full. And he has also told that we should not fast too much, because if we fast too much, we'll be thinking only about food. Occasional fasting, if you want, it is okay. For example, for Ekadasi and all. Similar to that, even for sleep, to succeed in spirituality, sleep also needs to be moderate. We should not sleep more. We should not sleep less also. If we sleep less when we do meditation and all, we will be sleeping, or during the class also we'll be sleeping. So Krishna has advised, or Swamiji has advised, that we should sleep moderately, 7 to 8 hours, depending on the age or constitution. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks, Vikram. It was nice. You brought out the message with a lot of sense of humor. So we were all laughing with our muted microphones. We next go to Dr. Srinivas. It is your time.
Hari Om Acharya. Yuktahara viharasya yukta chestasya karmasu yukta swapnava bodasya yogho bhavati dukkha. In the previous verse, Bhagavan has told what we should not do, and here he is telling what we should do. He is not repeating it without any meaning. So that's the difference. The first word is padarthaha yuktahara viharasya. So yukta ahara vihara. Asya means asya is the sasti vibhakti ekavachanam. So all this in this shloka we have all the 3 adjectives in sasti vibhakti ekavachanam. Sambandharte sasti means sasti vibhakti means belonging to, like that it comes. Yuktahara viharasya. The previous speaker has mentioned about the quantity of the food. There are some more criteria for what food to be eaten and how should be eaten. So there is a definition of satvika ahara. The first criteria of satvika ahara is the food should be bought, or we should buy the annam or the rice with honestly earned money. This is the first criteria of satvika ahara. The second one is it should be taken in time. We should not eat randomly and without maintaining the time. The third one is the non-vegetarian food is not considered as satvika ahara. Egg is also non-vegetarian. If you are eating non-vegetarian food, there will be no progress in meditation. This may be controversial, but this is what one of the guru has mentioned. And another thing is we have shatruchis, tiktaha, maduraha, kashayaha, katuhu, lavanaha, amlaha. These are the 6 tastes. All the 6 tastes should not be more, or it should not be less. So somebody will like, we know that somebody will like salt, and some of us will like sour, some of us like sweets, and eventually we become diabetics and hypertensives. So we should not eat too much sugar, too much salt, and too much sour also. Another thing is we should not eat too much hot or too much cold also. And eating ice creams is also not allowed. So we know that our gastroenterologists say eating cold, very cold ice creams damages the mucosa of the gastrointestinal system. So this is about ahara. Viharasya. Viharasya means daily activities of daily life or walking. So the guru says we should restrict our walking style to less than 10 kilometers per day. And yukta chestasya karmasu. That means samuchita vyaparasya karyeshu. Samuchita vyaparasya. That means our activities. So we know that some of us may get involved in good works. So here the Bhagavan is telling even too much involvement in Nishkama Karma Yoga also may not be good. Even somebody says do help to the poor or do some service. So here even we should maintain in moderation of even the good works. course, bad works we should not do. Even the good works we should do in moderation, show that they do not create more vasanas. That's the idea here. Yukta swapnava bodhasya. Moderate sleeping and moderate sleeping and moderate awakening state, as the previous speaker has already mentioned. Yogo bhavati dukkha. Here, yogo bhavati is, there is a visarga sandhi. Yogaha bhavati. Visarga is becoming okara. Yogo. Yogaha is becoming yogo bhavati. Bhavati means, so it becomes. Bhavati means becomes. Here, one important word where the grammar is a little bit difficult is dukkha. Dukkha, in Sanskrit, even letters convey meaning. Even individual letters convey meaning. Ha means gamanam, tolagipovatam, nishkraminchitam. That means to go away or to get destroyed or to go. This is the meaning of ha. So Anvaya is like this. Yuktahara viharasya karmasu, yukta chestasya, yukta swapnava bodhasya yogaha dukkha bhavati. So the Kriya Padam is bhavati. Any word which complete fast, sir. Bhavati. Bhavati is the main Kriya Padam here. This is the verb. So it becomes. Bhavati means becomes. So what becomes? Dukkha. Dukkha means it becomes by, it gets destroyed. For whom it gets destroyed? Yogaha dukkha bhavati. The one who does yoga, for him the sorrows are getting destroyed. So what kind of kidrushaha yogaha dukkha bhavati? So what kind of person for whom the sorrows are getting destroyed is yuktahara viharasya, yukta chestasya, yukta swapnava bodhasya. These are the three. So moderation in sleep and activities, moderation in food, and moderation in our recreation also. So this is the meaning of the shloka, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Dr. Srinivas. We always enjoy your presentation, and listening to you, many people have been inspired to study Sanskrit grammar more seriously, and many online classes, not many, one online class has started when many people are taking part. Thank you. And we go to the next speaker. Purnima, it is your time.
Good evening, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Gurubhyo Namaha. In the earlier verses of this chapter 6, which deals with Atma Samyama Yoga, Krishna has discussed the general and specific preparations to be taken care by a meditator. After having practiced meditation as guided by Bhagwan, how do we know that we are in the right direction towards enlightenment? So now Krishna is coming to the topic of the actual process of meditation, namely Dhyana Swarupam from verse 18 onwards. Our scriptures have accepted and prescribed Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga to attain Nirvikalpa Samadhi. They are Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. While Yama and Niyama constitute 10 commandments for Atma Shuddhi, Asana, Pranayama and Pratyahara are preparatory steps to begin the process of meditation. Actual process of meditation consists of 3: Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. Dharana is entertaining thoughts dealing with the object of meditation and focusing the thoughts on that object. This is the 6th step of Ashtanga Yoga. Dhyana is an attempt to ensure flow of similar thoughts, each thought dealing with the same object. This constitutes 7 stages of Ashtanga. To call it a Dharana or Dhyana, the prerequisite is the thought should be associated with God or any Ishta Devata. Otherwise, it becomes only an exercise of focus and attention on any object. Samadhi. After Dharana and Dhyana, when the deliberate thought gets momentum, and with sheer momentum, the thought gets anchored in the object of meditation. This thought is called Sukshma Vritti, and this Sukshma Vritti continuation is called absorption or Samadhi, which is the 8th stage. This Samadhi sthiti can be divided into 2 stages. The first of which is Savikalpa Samadhi, where the focus is Saguna Brahma or Ishta Devata. When the person develops capability to graduate beyond this and anchor in Nirguna Brahma or pure consciousness, he is said to have arrived at his destination called Nirvikalpa Samadhi. With this background, we shall see the meaning of this verse 18. Yada viniyatam chittam atman nevavat isthate nispruha sarva kamebhyo yukta ityuchyate tada. Yada, when the mind has come within our control, it resides in the self alone, totally detached from all, and then it is said, such a person has become yuktaha, reached the state of samadhi, absorbed in the self. Viniyatam chittam. It first withdrawn from the ego. In Atma Dhyanam, the mind has to withdraw from Anatma. This means one should not entertain any thought connected with the Anatma, the objective universe, that is the world, body, and mind. This is Chittam Viniyatam. How does it take place? Sarva Kamebhya Nisproha, by developing detachment from Anatma. Nisproha means having detached from every object. Karmaha means objects of attachment. That is why meditation is required. Now, when the mind has withdrawn from Anatma, what should you do? Atman nevavat isthate. The mind abides in Atma. It dwells in Atma. It dwells in the self. This self is the awareness or consciousness. The thoughts arise in consciousness, but they cannot disturb the consciousness. Like our Guruji always tells, the hand may be moving in the light, but the light is not disturbed by the hand. The light illumines the hand without itself getting disturbed. Light itself is similarly, the consciousness, illumine the thought, witness the thought, but the thought themselves do not disturb the I, the conscious. It is, within quotes, I am. I am that Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham, the pure consciousness, the pure I, which is we have to only shift our vision from the objects of the mind to I am, the pure consciousness. This is called Atma Dhyana. Therefore, Krishna says, one whose mind abides in Atma, entertaining the relevant thoughts, that state is called Yogaha. It is Turiya Avastha. Tada Yukta Ityuchate. Such a person then is called Yukta. What is this Turiya Avastha is explained in the next verse. Hari Om.
Thank you, Purnima, for a very nice presentation on this verse. We come to the last presentation by Dr. Sanjay Mehrotra, where Krishna gives a very beautiful picture. Dr. Sanjay, it's your time.
Good evening, Dr. Hegde, and good evening to all the friends who are listening to this wonderful expression of Bhagwad Gita. I'll read the verse. Yatha dipo nivatas ningate sopuma smrata yoginam yat chittasya yungito yog matmanaha. So let me first give the meaning, and then we will talk a bit about the expansion of this understanding. So there is a simile given, which is what it means. Sa upuma. The following simile is mentioned, smrata, in the ancient writings. Yat chittasya, for the restrained mind, yogina, of a yogi, yunjitaha, who is practicing yogam atmanaha, dhyan yoga of the atma, which is like a yatha deepo nivatastha, which is like a lamp which is lighted in a windless environment so that it is not shaking at all. There is no flicker. So this is a simile which is mentioned for the restrained mind of a yogi who is practicing the Dhyana yoga of the Atma. And this is an important expression because this is a Vedantic Dhyana, where you focus on the Atma. And the mind of such a person is like a lamp in a windless spot. Now, listening to probably in the following verses, if you remember, it will come, and I'm sure all of us have heard this verse. Asanshayam mahababo mano dudigraham chalam abhyasen tu kaunteya vairagyena jagrayate. So mind is very fickle, and this fickle mind is difficult to control. But hey, Arjuna, by vairagya, it can be attained. Vairagya can be attained by practice. And what I understand from reading all the scriptures is that ultimately everything and every writing will talk about sense control and detachment. Your inputs to the mind have to be controlled, and the detachment comes automatically. Vivekananda describes the mind, the fickleness of the mind, and equates it to a monkey who has been able to drink wine and is being bitten by a scorpion. So it becomes absolutely uncontrollable. And this is the kind of mind we have. Now, if you have to protect this mind, you have to put an enclosure around this mind. For example, if the lamp is in a windy space, what you do, you put an enclosure. So that the wind does not affect the flame and the flame becomes stable. So what is the enclosure which we have to create? The fickle mind to become like a steady flame, and that is the vairagya and bhakti. Another state of the mind of yogi, which can be compared with the steady flame, is the state of nirvikalpa samadhi, which is what was told by the previous lady who talked about the previous verse. So the mind gets connected to all the objects of perception in the world. So whenever you are using your senses, there is the connection which gets created between the mind and that object. And this is called as a vritti. And then you create a thought following that. So if you see any object, there is a thought which gets formed. And then the thought then continues. And that continuation of that thought is called as a vritti. So mind gets connected to all the objects of perception in this world. And this is due to thought which mind creates in relation to the observed perception. This connection, of course, as I said, is called vritti. And when it is connected to all the anatma, it is called as anatma vritti or akandakara vritti. When this vritti becomes stabilized on the atma vritti, you reach the nirvikalpa state. And this is the method of Vedantic meditation. In the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, the state of Savikalpa Samadhi is the state of Anatma Vritti, where the thought is concentrated on one object. But what the Vedantic meditation, which is where the Atma becomes the point of concentration. So that means you need to then, mind has to be attached to its nature of the Atma, which is, I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am that eternal Sakshi. And that becomes the Aham Brahmasmi. So the tools of understanding, so you have a jnana which we need to understand, and the tools of reaching that state is the meditation. And that is why the meditation has been given so much of importance. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjay, for a very clear presentation and also for emphasizing that this aspect of meditation is not upasana but nididhyasana. We have come to the end. We will conclude with a short tribute to Adi Shankara, and this time by Dr. Ahalya. Dr. Ahalya.
Namaste. Harihi Om. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you're audible.
This is a verse from Nirguna Manasa Puja attributed to Shankaracharya. Rupam Rupa Vivarjitasya Bhavato Dhyanena Yat Kalpitam Stutya Nirvachaniyata Kila Guru Duri Krita Yanmaya Vyapitvam Cha Nirakrito Bhagavato Yatirtha Yatradina Kshantavyam Jagadisha Tadvikalata Doshatrayam Matkritam. Acharya Shankara, known for his Jnana Yoga proposition, also has done a lot on bhakti. And then there is a regret that he writes here, asking for forgiveness. Rupam Rupa Vivarjitasya Bhavato Dhyanena Yat Kalpita. For the comfort of my dhyana, I have given form to the formless one. I sang your praise in words, who is beyond words. Stutya nirvachaniyata kila guru, duri kritayanmaya, and thereby distancing you from me. I travelled to Tirtha sthanas. I undertook yatras looking for one who is Vibhu Sarvavyapi. Kshantavyam, may I be forgiven, O Jagadesha. Tatvikalata, this distortion, doshatrayam, the three mistakes that I did. This is from the Nirguna Manasa Puja. Namaste, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ahalya. Adi Shankara was surrounded by very brilliant people like Sureshwaracharya, Padmapada, and Hastamalakhiya. And he had one person who was very not so brilliant, that was Totakacharya. And one day Totakacharya had not come for class, he was busy washing the Acharya's clothes, and the others indicated to Adi Shankara whether he comes or not, it makes no difference. And it was a stimulus for Adi Shankara to bless a not so gifted student, and that's how we have the Totakashtakam, a spontaneous chanting on the greatness of Adi Shankara that we will listen to in Totaka meter. That is how we have got, it is called Totakashtaka. We can play the audio.
Totakaashtakam Viditākhila Shastra Sudha Jaladhe Mahitopanishad Kathitartha Nidhe Hridaye Kalaye Vimalam Charanam Avashankara Deshikame Sharanam Karuna Varunalaya Palaya Mam Bhavasagara Dukkha Viduna Kritam Rachita Khila Darshana Tattva Vidam Bhavashankara Deshikame Sharanam Bhavata Janata Suhita Bhavita Nijabodha Vicharana Charumate Kalayeshwara Jiva Viveka Vidam Bhavashankara Deshikame Sharanam Bhavayeva Bhavaniti Me Nitaram Samajayata Chetasi Kautukita Mama Varaya Moga Mahajaladhim Bhavashankara Deshikame Sharanam Sukrute Dhikrite Bahudha Bhavato Bhavita Samadarshana Lalasata Atidina Mimam Paripalayama Bhavashankara Deshikame Sharanam Jagati Mavitum Kalita Kritayo Vicharanti Maha Mahasaschalataha Ahimam Shurivatra Vibhasi Guru Bhavashankara Deshikame Sharanam Guru Pungava Pungava Ketanate Samata Mayatam Nahi Kopi Sudhi Sharanagata Vatsala Tattva Nidhe Bhavashankara Deshikame Sharanam Vidita Namaya Vishadaika Kala Nachakinchana Kanchana Masti Guru Dhrutameva Videhi Kripam Sahajam Bhavashankara Deshikame Sharanam भव शंकर देशिक मे शरणम भव शंकर देशिक मे शरणम
With a deep sense of gratefulness, I will conclude this session. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhak Bhaved. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you very much.